WrestleMania 14 with the tagline DX Rated, or as people know, this was also the beginning of the Attitude Era as well. Now, what to say about this pay-per-view? You know, this was actually good. It really was. There were a lot of good matches on here. Some of them that were so-so or anything. But you know, it was a very good pay-per-view. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to end the video just like that. We're going to talk about the pay-per-view. This was held March 29th, 1998, and I know I did not say where WrestleMania 13 was. It was in Illinois. I believe it was. Yes. The Rosemont Horizon, I think I said that wrong, in Rosemont, Illinois. And this was held March 29th, 1998, brought to you by M&M's, not the musician. Held at the Fleet Center in Boston, Massachusetts, or simply known to us as the Garden, Boston Garden, or anything like that, with an attendance of 19,028 people jam-packed to see the main event, which we will get to later. But first, we will start off with the opening match. The opening match, which was a 15-team battle royal to determine the #1 contenders for the WWF Tag Team Championship. 15 teams again. So here we go. We had who do we have? Well, we had a lot in here. I'll just have to name these one by one as it is shown like how they were eliminated. We had the Los Boricuas, Savio Vega and Miguel Perez, I guess. The Truth Commission, Recon and Sniper. Sounds like a remake or something of The Shield or something. Then we have Steve Blackman and Flash Funk. Funk and Blackman. Sounds like a tag team that never really made it. Now we had Chains and Bradshaw. Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown from the Nation of Domination. Pierre Ouellet and Jacques Rowe from the Quebecers. First time we've seen them in a while, I think. Farouk and Kama Mustafa from the Nation of Domination. Jose Estrada and Jesus Castillo from Los Boricuas. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson from the Rock and Roll Express. Mosh and Thrasher from the Headbangers. Scott Taylor and Brian Christopher, or Scotty Too Hottie and Grandmaster Sexay, but in this time, Brian Christopher, Jerry Lawler's Kid, and Scott Taylor from Too Much. Yeah. Skull and 8 Ball from the Disciples of Apocalypse, or DOA. Phineas and Henry Godwin of the Godwins. Bodacious Bart and Bombtastic Bob from the New Midnight Express, and finally making their return for the first time in a while. Well, not really, they were there last year, but with a new name. LOD, the Legion of Doom, LOD 2000, along with Sunny. The first time since WrestleMania of last year where they appear, and they would wind up being your winners and being the #1 contenders. They got a really big pop. They really did when they entered. They had a new attire on as well. And good to see Sunny as well, because I always loved her. And there you go. Oh, there. So, not a bad opener. You know, we pretty much knew who was going to win as they got the biggest pop, and it just seemed obvious who was going to win. Next, we move on to the this match for the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship. You know, back in the day when they used to defend that title, but they don't anymore. And that is between Aguila, I think that's how it's pronounced, Aguila and Taka Nishinoku, or as Jerry Lawler sometimes called him, Taka Nishinoku, Kai and Tai. You know, he was not a bad wrestler. I did watch him wrestle, and he was known for that finisher, the Michinoku driver. But this was just a very quick match, you know, not entertaining or anything, just pretty much quiet. But Taka Michinoku retains the title. And then there you go. It was only like for 5 minutes. Quick match. Now we move on to the third match. which is Triple H along with China against Owen Hart for the European Championship. I got to mention that too. Triple H, who is the champion, with China like handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter so she doesn't interfere, because every time whenever she interfered, and they would always one time they had her in a cage locked up one time, and I think she was handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter. So Triple H winds up getting the win after China interfered and gave the low blow to Owen Hart, and he retains the title just like that. Not all that bad. Better than the second match. Next, we have the last time I think we see these two together as a team, Marc Mero and Sable, the Wild Man Marc Mero. I think it was the fabulous Marc Mero, whatever his name was in this time, against the artist formerly known as Goldust, failed name that Goldust had. This should have stuck with it as Goldust, and with Luna as well, Luna Vachon. And this was, it was not bad. Sable, I think, did her finish her the Sable Bomb as well. I don't really know exactly, but it wasn't really that bad of a match. Yeah. So, Marc Mero and Sable pick up the win. There you are. Next, we move on to the Intercontinental Championship match, which is between The Rock, Rocky Maivia, as they were still calling him, along with Kyle Mustafa, Mark Henry, and D'Lo Brown, against the new guy, Ken Shamrock. And with the stipulation on here, if The Rock had been disqualified, he would have lost the title as well. But in this match, Ken Shamrock originally won the match because The Rock submitted to the ankle lock. But however, Ken Shamrock would not break the hold, and they reversed the decision because he wouldn't break it. Whenever you have somebody in a submission hold, and you win the match, or you have to break the hold, and if you don't, then you lose, just like that. So, the decision gets reversed, and The Rock retains his title, and winds up just being a disqualification, and that's that. If Ken Shamrock had been an Intercontinental, actually he was. I'll take that back. He also would win the King of the Ring, as everybody knows, in 1998 as well. And he had many other rivalries, like with Owen Hart, he did, and Steve Blackman. They turned heel in '99, and then turned face again, and he would later leave after that. If he would have stuck around, and it was, if he was still here and he would have faced Kurt Angle in a match, that definitely would have been good to see, because both of them who do the ankle lock as well. But I think Ken Shamrock did it better. That's my opinion, but if he was stuck around, that would have been a good match to see. So there you are. Now we move on to the sixth match, and that is the dumpster match for the WWF Tag Team Championship. Cactus Jack, or Mick Foley, and Chainsaw Charlie, or a.k.a. Terry Funk, taking on the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn, and the Road Dogg. The Road Dogg, Jesse James, and the badass Billy Gunn. Now, I really expected the New Age Outlaws to retain their titles, but however, they did not. They lost the match when Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack put them into the dumpster and got the win. But however, the next night on Raw, it would be reversed, and they would get a rematch or something because they put Billy Gunn and Road Dogg in the wrong dumpsters for some reason, and it just wound up being like a rematch. There you are. And the Outlaws will get their titles back the next night. Yeah. Yeah, somehow like that. But anyway, we'll move on to the next one. And this is probably a really good one. This really was. And that is the match for the first time ever, The Undertaker versus his storyline brother, Kane. The first time ever after Kane debuted at Bad Blood 97. And Tombstone The Undertaker, preventing him from winning the title. Then came January 98, the Royal Rumble, where he put The Undertaker into the casket and set it on fire, but The Undertaker said that he would never fight his brother. but Kane pushed things over the limit, and The Undertaker returned on an episode of Raw and says that he will fight him at WrestleMania. So Kane makes his entrance first, and the guest ring announcer is Pete Rose from the Cincinnati Reds, who should be in the Hall of Fame, as everybody knows. They should really let things go. So he says like something about the Boston Red Sox or something he may have said. I don't remember exactly. So Kane makes his entrance and he tombstones Pete Rose, much to everybody's delight, which they thank him for and cheered him for. So now The Undertaker makes his entrance, and this was a really good entrance of The Undertaker. It really was. I mean, this is what happened. The lights go out, and then it starts thundering and lightning, and the Grim Reapers come out like holding torches, and the chant's going on, which is really cool too, and they all hold him up where The Undertaker makes his entrance, and a bolt of lightning strikes. Then the theme hits, and the crowd goes crazy, and he's got a new attire on with his black thing, like black jacket that he unbuttons, and it's got like a little thing on the back, and kind of like a vampire almost, but it's a pretty cool entrance that he makes. Gets a good, a response from the crowd as well, and then he does like this pose where he goes like that instead of like going like that, which I think was good. They did not do that. So now the match begins, and it was it was long. It was 16 minutes, and so The Undertaker like goes for the tombstone on Kane, but Kane gives him the tombstone, which looks like it's going to be the end right there. And The Undertaker is still undefeated at WrestleMania, so he gets the pin 1 and 2, but The Undertaker kicks out. Now The Undertaker gets his tombstone in and pins Kane 1 and 2, and then Kane kicks out. And the first time ever in history, he's the only person to kick out of the tombstone given by The Undertaker on there. So then he gives him a leg drop, and he gives him another tombstone, and covers him again, and he still kicks out. Then he goes for the flying clothesline on the top rope, knocks him down, and gives him another tombstone. And then 1, 2, 3, and he finally gets the win, but when the referee's hand comes down, it hits the mat, and then Kane kicks out, but he's a little bit too late. But they would wind up hitting The Undertaker with a chair and then tombstoning him on the chair, and that would not be the end of their rivalry. Yeah. But it was still a really good match. I really think that it was. I liked the way that The Undertaker's entrance was, as I said. And, yeah, it was definitely very good. Well, that just leads us to our main event. And that is none other than the WWF Championship, the winner of the 1998 Royal Rumble, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus, well, as everybody knows in this one, the hurt and injured Shawn Michaels. He had a severe back injury, which he hurt at the Royal Rumble in 1998. Sorry to say it again, at the Royal Rumble, I just should have said, where he was back body dropped by The Undertaker, and he hit his backside on the casket, which like something like he hurt like one of his plates or something in his back. So he still competed. Well, he had to, because if he had not, he would have had to forfeit the title, and they would have had to change the main event. So he still performs. Let's see. Stone Cold makes his entrance to probably a huge pop, pretty much, and Mike Tyson, who is a special outside enforcer, originally supposed to be the special guest referee, I think, but he makes his entrance to kind of a mixed reaction, I think, with his own version of DX theme, but that one, not as good as the original DX theme, but just the way it is, I'm just saying. So Shawn Michaels makes his entrance as well, and pretty much a good amount of boos from the crowd, and a guy named Chris Warren, who sings the song D-Generation X, performs it. He also performed it at SummerSlam 1998 as well. So Michaels makes his entrance, and still a lot of boos, as you know. And pretty much in this match, as you know, Shawn Michaels just got owned in it. He was hurt again, and I think a lot of people knew that he was not going to win because to Stone Cold, it seemed like the obvious one who was going to win. He had not been a WWF champion before. And there you go. So Stone Cold, near the end, while Shawn is going for the Sweet Chin Music and he misses it, he goes for the stunner and throws him into the ropes, goes for the Sweet Chin Music again, but Austin blocks it, then gets the stunner on him, but the referee is knocked out, so Mike Tyson comes in and just fast counts it, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And we hear JR with his quote, Austin is the champion, Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold. Yeah. And I think if they may have had that word in there or whatever, the Austin era or whatever has begun or something, I'm not sure. So, and pretty much after that, Shawn Michaels just gets up and like confronts Mike Tyson, like, you know, why he did that or why he thought he was on his side or whatever. But Shawn Michaels just winds up trying to go for a punch on him, and Tyson just gives him a right arm and knocks him down. A big reaction from the crowd, and that's just basically it. And after that was over, we had not seen Shawn Michaels perform at a pay-per-view until SummerSlam 2002, as he really needed a lot of time to rest his back. So there you are. And that's really it. That is the review of WrestleMania 14. So for a out of 10 review. Now this was good. You know, the main event was good, and the other one too. The dumpster match was not bad, but just The Rock retaining his title against Ken Shamrock, which I thought Shamrock was going to win until he had not breaking the lock, you know, which he didn't do. So for a review out of 10, excuse me, I'm going to give this a 7.5 because a lot of the matches were good. I would normally give this an 8, but if Ken Shamrock had gotten the belt and won the match, I would have given it an 8. But instead of him getting disqualified, you know, I just thought if he had been an Intercontinental Champion when he was a face, this would have been better instead of him having the title as a heel. There you are. Well, that is my review of WrestleMania 14. I hope you all enjoyed. So, I will see you guys with more videos with my WrestleMania 15 review. So, please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe. It is not a bad thing, it's a good thing, and I'll see you with more videos.